Okay, so now I'm going to give you a brief overview of the entire project so you have some idea what you're thinking about taking on. Okay, uh, basically, our can is going to be the size of a regular drinks can. Inside it, it's going to have an Arduino and a battery that's going to power the Arduino. The Arduino will then have various sensors, more than likely sitting on a shield on top of the Arduino. You may even have a GPS module also sitting on top of the Arduino for location. The basic project, the primary mission, is that you would measure temperature and pressure as the can falls. So basically the can will be either put into a rocket, a drone, hung off a drone, a balloon or a kite, depending on the level of the competition. It'll be taken up in the air, anywhere from 200 meters to 1,000 meters. It will be dropped can be quite a violent drop or release from whatever has taken it up, and it will fall. And as it falls, it will take measurements of temperature and pressure. Now that's the basic one. You will have to add sensors for the secondary missions and perhaps GPS location or anything else that you can think of. As the can falls, obviously a parachute will need to be deployed, and the parachute itself will need to be designed so that it falls with a particular terminal velocity or a descent velocity. The guidelines about the velocity, the weight of the can, the size of the can, etc. are in a document, I think it's the 2018 guidelines, and they're on the website. So the parachute area and so on, and design, shape, fixings with the shroud lines will all need to be considered and designed into the project. As it falls then, the Arduino itself has a program that is kind of running in a loop all the time. That program was put into the Arduino before the Arduino ever left the ground. It will have been uploaded by a computer, and the program will have been written by one of the team members. The program will be designed to communicate with the sensors, perhaps turn them on, turn them off, send data to the sensors, receive data from the sensors. And then the Arduino will transmit that data via radio waves to the computer station or the base station. An antenna will be needed to receive and capture that data. The data is electromagnetic waves, just like light. The antenna will receive the data and will send the data to the computer. That will go into a data file, but that data is unfiltered and may well have kind of anomalies in it based on the fact that this can will not be falling smoothly but may well be swaying about as it falls. So a program on the computer will need to look at that data file and filter it and decide what needs to be kept and what data might need to be discarded. The filtered data is put into a new file, and that new file will then be looked at or used by a program such as Excel or another computer program that will organize the data, put it into graphs, and the graphs can then be analyzed. The idea then is that the data tidied up and with graphs will be sent to a projector, connected to a projector, and the team as a whole will present that data to an audience. The team needs to present the data, to describe what's happening over time as the can falls, for example, with temperature and pressure. So you need to know what temperature and pressure should do with altitude, and you should be able to explain any anomalies in the graph and why you think they may have occurred. Other data, as I say, such as humidity, oxygen levels and so on, could also be collected as part of the secondary mission, and that would also need to be explained. You need to also be able to answer questions that will come from the audience or the judges. All team members need to have good communication skills, and all will be required to participate in the presentation. You will also be presenting about the design of the can. So somebody will need to talk about how the can was designed, the material of the can itself, the way the stuff is organised inside the can. You will need to talk about the parachute design and why you picked the design that you did and how you got on when you were testing. You will also need to talk about calibrating the sensors. That again is detailed in another video separately. So communication skills is essential. Another whole aspect which will need to be presented and also need to be dealt with as part of the project is outreach. It's very important that we communicate what we are doing to our school, our local community, and even further afield. So we will need an outreach person who will have a website running that will be letting people know what is going on a regular basis, how we're getting on with our CAN, how our testing is going. We are very lucky to have a drone in the school. We bought it from money that was donated to us in 2016. So our tests, we can do drop tests from the drone, and we will have to communicate all of this information to our school and the wider community. We also need to go to companies and look for funding for the project as well. And again, that is another means of communicating what is going on. We would probably need to present to other companies and let them know what we're doing, because people don't just give you money easily. We might need to go to SuperValu and look for prizes, because we will run competitions within the school to name the CAN, to design a logo for the CAN, again raising awareness of the project. So again, somebody with very good communicating skills and an ability to set up a website, Twitter feed, and so on, to be able to communicate ourselves outwards. In general, I think that's pretty much what you need to know at the moment. And you can have a look on the website. There should be videos that will guide you in terms of the setting up the temperature sensor and the pressure sensor and calibrating. Calibration will also need to be talked about in this video. And again, we could go to companies locally to help us calibrate our various sensors.